Just waiting for the numbers to come up, guys. Yes, I've had a shave, as you see. Just waiting for some numbers to come up, and let's get positive today. So just give it a couple of seconds because the numbers are going up. Share it. I don't know if it is. Yeah, it is. Sure. I'll change it so you can share it. Silly me. But today is positive. Okay, we've got enough on, I think. But yeah, I'm just going to change this to open so people can share this. And then we'll crack on. If I can get into my profile. That is. Yeah, Alright guys, you know me by now. Fraser from Safety Net, Never Surrender, Minds at War. Well, in a good mood today, you know, positive vibes and that. I know last negative for the past few weeks, but today's something, just something sparked up. Good sleep, positive thinking, you know. And I'm seeing a lot of people reaching out, a lot of people sitting there wanting to reach out, but I can completely understand why they want to do it, because it's like sitting there on your own, like a fucking old projector going through your head, sitting there thinking about stuff, and it goes a million miles an hour, and you can't stop it. And there's only other ways you'll stop it. There's a couple of ways you can stop it. Reaching out for a start, that'll stop it. Get it out instead of having that complete roll. Or picking up the bottle, picking up a drug, take it away. It only takes it away for what? Till you wake up the next morning and you're rattling for more. And the third one's do nothing. And if you do nothing, it's just going to get worse. You know, and you see there, this is what I first thing I done in my counselling course, and it was a good quote, and you see it on the screen. First we form habits, then they form us. Conquer your bad habits, or they will conquer you. If that sinks in, and you've got your bad habits, how do you deal with the bad habits? What makes you get rid of the bad habits? If you keep the bad habits there, you're not going to conquer. You're not going to move on, especially in recovery. You're not going to move on. Having the bad habits, you need to get rid of the bad habits, you know. And like I said, it's like a revolving, old stereotype player. Your mind is racing. Something's triggered you off, and your mind, you can't get, it's like a magnetic strip right there, and it's just going round and round. You try and sleep, it's still there. That's a bad habit, you know. Reaching out is not a bad habit. Reaching out is good for you. A lot of people won't because they think it's something to be ashamed of. Of course it's not. It's not. And reaching out is going to get you into places where the bad habits, you're going to learn how to get over these bad habits. But if you continue to keep the bad habits, they will conquer you. And they will. And we don't do these kind of lives, or we don't say this to people just because they want to hear it. Because it's true, the facts are true. You know, you've got to get rid of the bad habits. And if you don't get rid of the bad habits, they're going to get rid of you. And that's the main thing. If you read that quote, first we form habits, then they form us. Conquer your bad habits, or they will conquer you. They are strong words. And every day we have bad habits. I can have bad habits. I did in the past 2 days have bad habits. And they came back, but you need to conquer them. So I reached out. And that's dealing with that part. But sitting there on your own, in the house yourself, nobody there, and not giving a fuck, sliding down, and you know when you're sliding down, you don't look after yourself. You don't eat. You don't communicate with people. You go AWOL. You know, people get worried, and people get scared. You get scared. You're on your own. You think you're alone, but you sit there and think, who's going to help you? There's loads of people out there who will help you, loads. The only thing you'll get help with is reaching out. And that's why I keep banging on about it. And Jeff Williams, he done a great video today. He's a man of words. Like when he says something, he means it, and he means it from the heart. And you can see that. Same as Jim Wild. You know, the passion in these guys is extraordinary. You know, Clive Spencer, met him in Nottingham, another good guy. And he's taught me a lot of things as well. Like Bella as well. Like she's been an inspiration with everything she's going through. You know, I don't know how. I don't think I could go through that. I thought my life was fucked. But then I look at other people's lives. I think, fuck me. I've not went through all that. You know? But you need to get rid of these bad habits. The bad habits are there. The bad habits are there every day. If you don't get rid of them, how are you going to move forward? Like, even though I harp on about addiction, there's bad habits everywhere. You don't need to be an addict to be in recovery. You don't need to be an addict. And that's true. If you're dealing with mental health, or you're dealing with PTSD, or complex PTSD, or combat PTSD, if you're dealing with mental health, that is recovery. And again, that's a recovery for life. And only you can put that effort in to change that. You'll get taught the tools. Some tools will not work. And I can tell you that. I've been there and I thought, fuck it, I'm giving up on this. But some tools will work. Now, I've got my recovery. You come to me saying, how did I do this? Well, I can't give you my recovery because my recovery might not help you. It can actually probably make it worse. What I can do is give you a blank book and see what works for yourself. That is your instructions. Nothing in mental health, nothing in addictions comes with setting instructions. You get given tools. You're given these tools to overcome these bad habits, realizing what the triggers are, because even in mental health, we know that yourself with PTSD, triggers, same addiction, triggers, they all relate together. Find out what the triggers are. There is ways of overcoming it. You don't always need medication. There's therapies out there that work. And I'm not talking about just CBT or whatever else. There is other kind of therapies. One therapy I enjoyed was equine therapy, working with horses. And they pick up your emotions. And I loved it. And I got a lot out of it because these horses were abandoned and were distressed, just like us, abandoned, stressed, feel alone. But then you come to these people like horses, animals, and they sense it. They sense how you are feeling. They sense how you are feeling. And you work with the horses for a sign. I remember going there to Shy Alone the first time. And I thought, fuck this. Working with horses, never going to work. By one hour of therapy, I fucking loved it. And I wrote it off before I even tried it. So don't ever think that something's not going to work just by hearing working with horses or working with something else. You don't know till you try it. If it does not work, and it doesn't always going to work, move on. Move on to something else that's going to work. That's why we ask you to reach out. And every weekend, we see people who are struggling, sadly struggling and scared, absolutely scared out their wits to reach out and ask for help because they feel they've been let down. And of course they have. They've been let down by the government. They've been let down by NHS. We've all been through that. We've all been either in prison. We've all been arrested for something. We have like trying to commit suicide or self-harming. I've been arrested for that. And I know a lot of other people have. We find it scared because we've been let down to go and ask for help. And that's the sadness of it. And that's why we have these groups who are not charities, like Never Surrender Where I Am, and Services Outreach, which Rebecca does. And there's a lot of other ones I know of. And they do a grand job without even having any funding. And it's all from the heart. At the end of the day, it's from the heart. Because we've all been there. It shouldn't be about who bigging up each other. We need to be supporting each other. And like that quote says there, get rid of the bad habits, because the bad habits will take over. If you keep the good habits, you have the good things, you have the tools, you have the energy, you have the willpower to overcome what is going on in your life. And I can guarantee you that you're moving on. You're moving on. Example, many people know my situation, right? I should have been dead the way I was. I was a fucking disaster. And I pushed the fuck it button. Didn't give a fuck who I hurt, I was deceitful. I was a liar. I didn't give a fuck who I hurt. You know, that's what it does. It gets to a stage where it's like a fucking atomic bomb. You know, you fill a jug of water, right? And these things go into your head, you're not opening up. You'll never open up. And then bang, explodes. And then what happens is a complete destruction. You hurt people. You steal for things. You steal for your habit. You don't give a fuck. You really don't give a fuck about life. And I did that for 13 years. And I'm fucking lucky that people now support me. Because I'm just going to be honest. You know, I know what I've done in my past. I can't change that. I can't. But I can help others not get in that way that I was. And I don't want anything for it. And I just want people to have, there's no normal about recovery. There's no normal. We're not normal. We've all got issues. We've got an illness, you know, and we have to manage that daily. You've got to somehow manage that daily. I mean, for 2 days, I'll be honest, for 2 fucking days, man, I was like, it was going back to my bad habits, not wanting to fucking eat, not wanting to wash. Do you know, I had no energy whatsoever. And then I got up this morning, I was like, fuck this, man, I'm not letting this beat me again. Up, out. Obviously, I can't go out because I'm isolated, but out doing washing, doing housework, and eating again, you know, had a shave, and that's the way forward. You know, you're going to get your bad days. I fucking certainly get bad days. Just because I do like videos or and I speak out doesn't mean we don't have bad days. And that's the thing. And Jeff mentioned that in a post before. People like us, we're not cured. We have our own difficulties as well. But we can relate to you all. We can relate to people who reach out. I understand personally, and this is only my personal experience, is when somebody comes to me and says they can't get help. And I've had one case saying go to the Samaritans. That must have been the bootest of the boys for that person. Samaritans. But you need to get these bad habits, if you form these bad habits, right? And see addiction, mental health, PTSD, right? Mindfulness, it takes like months for you to change the brain pattern of your pattern before. So if you're drinking every day, that you're used to that. Your brain is tuned into drink, drugs, and it's telling you want it. It's not me telling you I want it. It's the brain. It's the body. It's tolerance now to alcohol. This is just an example I'm giving. So for that, for me getting into rehab, say 12 weeks. 12 weeks is not going to change that brain in that matter of time. Some rehabs do 4 weeks, and it's certainly not going to change their thinking pattern. But mindfulness, it can take months. It can take, I remember the coach saying, up to maybe 6 months to retrain your brain. It's like going into the army. When you went into the army as a civilian, you trained to fight, you were trained to kill, honour, drill. It's just the exact same. You come out, you don't have that structure anymore. It's not there. It's just the same. Same addiction, same in mental health, but it's all compact into one. It's all compacted. And you're sitting there going, what the fuck do I do here, man? What the fuck do I do? Do I talk about it? Or do I get judged about it? Or do I hit the bottle? That hitting the bottle is only going to help you for what? One day, and the next thing, it rolls over to the next day. The problem's still there. The bad habit's still there. or what? The last resort, leaving it to the last minute, doing nothing. So you imagine that jug of water, and it's filling right to the top, and you're doing nothing about it. What is going to happen? It's like it's going to explode. So you've got no help whatsoever. You've not reached out, and it's going to explode. And that's where you're at the danger point. You're right at that danger point of you're going to do something stupid. And that's why people in groups, and we all want to get people to reach out, because we want you back down here and reaching out. Not getting to that point where you feel you're at the edge of the cliff and you're ready to jump. Because that's what happens if you don't reach out, and then it just explodes. And if you reach out, just imagine you're at that edge of that cliff, right? And you reach out, slowly but surely, you're getting gradually brought back. Doesn't mean it's cured you. It certainly doesn't mean it's cured you. But you're in a place that somebody understands you. You've reached out, which is one of the hardest things to do by anyone. You're going to learn new skills. You're going to learn techniques to help you. It took me 13 fucking years to realise that. And there's guys who's probably sitting there, and women, and children, because everybody has the same, we're all humans, we all have feelings. It's not just veterans that suffer, you know. You've got a civilian population as well. There's probably thousands of suicides a day, and because they can't reach out. And then I'm watching that Johnny Mercer video the other day, and I'm sitting there going, well, is he having a laugh? Is he forgetting about the suicides that's going on currently, and he's telling people to reach out, you know? But that's why we promote people to reach out. There's techniques out there to do it. And we can put you on to people. Any group, we can put you on to people. There's not going to be a cure in this. There's no cure. And if you think there's a cure in addictions, well, sadly, somebody says to me, why do you not say a recovering alcoholic or what? Right. So Friday, for example, I wanted to pick a drink up. I fucking did. Does that not mean I'm recovered? No, it doesn't mean I'm recovered. It means I'm still recovering. But I didn't pick that drink up. I reached out and asked guys on here to reach out. And that's why I shared my experience yesterday with you. I look like fucking shit yesterday. I know, I've actually had a shave. You know, don't sit there and dwell on things. Don't beat yourself up about, should I phone? Should I phone someone? Should I talk? Don't beat yourself up about it. There's nothing to be ashamed about. The longer you sit there and beat yourself up, the more that roll what's going round in your head's going to go worse. And that, the more you're going to push yourself to that cliff, and you're going to be hanging there with a strap or a bungee, and then that bang. But reaching out, you're going to pull yourself back in. At least pull yourself back in and get some kind of support. You deserve the support. Anyone in this whole, anyone deserves support, from mental health to anything. We all suffer. A lot of people suffer in silence, and we need to get rid of that. There's a lot of people sitting at home drinking because they're scared of what happens, because they've been let down by services. We know how bad the services are. We know, right? And we need something. We need one number. And Jim Wild mentioned this. Either 123 or, but look, they've got COVID 119. We need one number instead of having all these numbers plastered all over the place, because to me it's confusing as fuck, right? But another thing, right? You're sitting there going like that, and this is why I beg groups, and we do at Never Surrender. We do work with, and we promote to work with our groups, because the whole reason for that is having these different organisations. And I think Clive mentioned there's 1,000 odd charities or whatever. And let's not remember the ones who are not CIC yet. So you're talking more than that. If you're sitting there struggling, right, and you've got fucking 100 fucking comments going, here's a number, here's a number, here's a number. Fuck me, man. I'll be like that. Holy fuck, where did I start here? We need one number. One. And that's what Jim Wild said. And I fucking support what he says in that, because it's clear as day. We need that one number. They've done it for COVID 119. So why can't we have one number? And this is what we need to push for as well. Right? We've got 4.1 million veterans out there, right? We have a petition. I think it's sitting at 38,000 at the moment for bringing the Armed Forces Convict Act into law. Why is it sitting at 38,000? But people sit there when there's a suicide, or somebody's struggling, we need to help them, there's another one dead, what can we do? Sign the bloody fucking petition. Sign it. It's only yous or us that can make it action. Just because, like, we call a demo, we call a rally, we'll be there. I get that. Not 100% people can be there, but BLM are fucking getting away with everything, and we're sitting back. And we can see that. I've seen it in all the videos. I was in Nottingham myself, and I seen what happened there. It's clear as day what's going on, and we're sitting back. We're a veterans community. We're meant to be. We're meant to be in a community, not just with the veteran, but with supporters as well in the civilian community. There's a lot of supporters out there. We need to target this. We need to tackle the mental health issue. If we don't tackle the mental health issue, including the prosecutions as well, what's going on, I'm not forgetting that. But my main aim is the mental health addiction side of it, right? Because I'll put an example for me, right? I was the biggest alcoholic known. I did things I'm not proud of, and I can't change that, right? Picking that drink up every day was a relief. To be honest, it's like self-suicide, isn't it? Because you know what the effects is going to do. You know what's going to happen. You didn't give a fuck, because you went and asked for help, and you get told to fuck off. Right? And I always wondered why this. And I used to moan and fucking blame everybody else. I blamed the fucking NHS. I blamed this. I blamed my family. I just blamed everyone. I caused the shit. I caused the shit. Like that video showed you, the one the other day, it was so fucking powerful from Paul Mott. Absolutely powerful video. And I caused that shit. Like he says, it's me that done it. We do it. And I've seen people struggling out there. And you really, all they need is a fucking hug. A fucking hug, and sit down, have a coffee, listen to them. You know, and that's what majority want. Because that projector is going at fucking 1,000,000 miles an hour. And they need it stopped. They need it brought back slowly. They need the techniques to stop it. They need Jews. I know people sit there and they'll tag people. All they need is somebody to listen to at the end of the day. And some people need more help, and that's why we refer them to agencies which will help people like myself. People deserve a chance to at least have some normality back in their life, and not sit in the house and not sit there feel worthless. They feel like dread. They feel like nothing. They feel empty. People deserve that chance to get rid of all the habits, to get rid of it completely, and move on. Move on to the next stage. Move on to techniques to get rid of the bad habits. The bad habits can go into a cupboard, hopefully locked. But don't get me wrong, sometimes the bad habits can come back, but then the tools you've got and learned will push them back in. Push them back away into that drawer. And and I like that quote. First, we form habits. And I can guarantee you, many of us have formed habits. We all do it daily. We form some sort of habit. We've got the good habit and we've got the bad habit. Then they form us. So you've then, having all these habits has formed you as a person. It makes you who you are. So you went to the army, you had all these good habits. You might have had bad habits from young age, you might have bad experiences, but your good habits has made you who you are. And if you listen to this, your bad habits and your good habits is making you the person you are now. Right? Get rid of the bad habits, get out of that hole, and you bring yourself back up. Everybody knows, right? There's people, I'm not going to name names here, right? People struggle in life, right? And they might think, oh, he's an alcoholic, he's a wanker, he's a prick. But one day he was a good guy. One day he was a good person. Something happened in his life. You know, I'm just using that as an example. People can change. People can get help. People can make a new start. It's not about erasing everything. It's about coping. It's about coping how you feel, how your inner self is. I mean, for 2 days there, I felt like fucking shit, and I felt that fucking button ready to go. But I had the tools, and I reeled it back out at that cliff again. I went back, and thank fuck I done that. Thank fuck I reached out to people. And then today, I'm feeling alive again. Even though Celtic won 5-0. But I feel alive again. And I want people to experience that, because people who are not reaching out every day, and I know what it feels like, and I know a lot of you know what it feels like, sitting there on your own, sitting there, and you don't know what to do. You might have a drink, and the drink gets more. And why I keep going on about addictions, because the cases I get is a lot to do with alcohol or drugs, certain drugs. And your body builds up a tolerance. So if you've had a stressful day at work, what's the first thing you do on a Friday? Or if you work in a building yard or whatever, you go and de-stress. And how do you go and de-stress? you go to the pub, and it brings you back down to normality. Now, you imagine that every day for people like ourselves or people who's been through traumas, and you imagine that tolerance, right? I've had a shit day. So how do I fix this? So go and buy a case of beer, go and buy a case of wine, go and get a couple of grams of coke, or whatever drug they want. And then they bring themselves back down. In time, your body tolerates that. And it tolerates to a session where all that shit you were getting rid of, having the drinks daily, like minimum drinks, 4 drinks, say, daily, is tolerated. There's no effect after that. You then have to double that amount. And the process keeps going, and you're dependent. Then you're fucked. You're in. You've pressed that fuck it button by then, and you're over that edge. And it gets worse because of the addiction. And if you don't reach out, bye. You need to reach out. And I keep saying that. You reach out, get rid of the bad habits. The bad habits will never conquer you. At the moment, with your bad habits, they will conquer you. And I've been fucking honest here, man. I hate seeing people struggling. I hated it myself fucking struggling the other day. And I shared it with you. It's hard to live the life we do in recovery. Even going through it, if you're still going through addictions, we all go through mental health daily. It's fucking hard. It's not easy. Nobody gave us this route to say it's easy. But anyway, guys, I appreciate you all listening. I don't know how many's watched, but our numbers down there. We do need the support. We need the support for the one number, as Jim Wild said. I think it's a great idea. I think a lot needs to be done more, and we all need to pull together in it. But the one number, I 100% back it up. But in the meantime, we've got. You've seen the scroll there. Never Surrender. Safety Net Crisis Team Line 0800 0031 4368. Now we've got a good team there, and I know there's other groups with good teams as well. It doesn't have to be us. You can go to anyone as long as you're reaching out. It's not competition. We're here we just want to support people, all from the good of our heart. And I know veterans who are going through the same thing as need to do the same thing. So you can sort yourself out and help others. There is way around addiction. There's way around mental health, and you can have a pretty normal life. But you're going to be, recovery is a daily thing. It's not just it's not just getting treatment and that's you. It's daily. It's every single day, and I'm not going to lie to you. It's fucking hard. Things come there. The hurdles come. You've got to overcome the hurdles. And if you don't ever overcome to the hurdles, you go to that first step and you're over that cliff. And that's not where anyone, none of us, none of our groups or any other groups or Veteran Unite Against Suicide want to see. We don't want to see that. Jeff said today, we've not even had a suicide in a week. That's fantastic news. Fantastic. But we need to keep reaching out, and let's keep that total. Sadly, the total, it's so sad to even though it's 57, but let's not put more. Let's bring it down. And there's people watching right now. Reach out and don't leave it to the third option. There's options available. If you're sitting there having a drink, feeling like shit, and can understand what I'm saying, or maybe not understand because I'm Scottish, but reach out. If you go into our site, there's plenty of people there to help at Never Surrender. If you go into Veterans Unite Against Suicide, they have the list of numbers who are really good people to phone. Services, outreach services, Rebecca, Jane and Peter, they run a good thing out there. And I believe the PTSD camp will be up and running soon. I can get some more info on that if you do that, go and check that. It's on Facebook. It's for veterans. A few respite centres and that. But guys, I hope you have a really good remainder of the night. Please stay safe. And if you feel that you're struggling, reach out. Don't be ashamed. We're here. And thank you for listening. And God bless you all. Cheers all.